Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Monday, March the 18th. The year is 2024. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and cap with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and differ from Walmal's. So we'll take a look at the weekly chart here, and the dashboard shows all the weekly open gaps have filled. Looking at the top there, I've only got 21 pips of range. We are 15 hours into the trading day, and there's only 21 pips of range. We're hanging out around the weekly open, just about 3 pips below it. And it looks like there's a little movement to the downside. Taking a look at the month, 108 pips above the open, 162 off the high, and 132 off the low. And we are in the upper wick zone of the previous month's candle. We are putting in the weekly opening range right now, which is pretty tight. We're in the opening range for the year with the high at 127.59 and the low at 126.10. So we could be stuck in this range for a while. And we are just now 11 pips above, now 12 pips above the yearly open. And we're 161 off the high and 214 off the low. We touched the low of the weekly inside bar from last week and bounced down at 127.24. Well, actually, it looks like the low on my chart for today is 127.25. So bounced off that psychological. And it looks like, as far as the weeks go, there's a lot of inside bar action. No pairs are over 100 pips in range, and it looks like the leader is the pound yen with 54 pip range. No, sorry, euro yen's got 60. So today must be, let's see, it was St. Patty's Day yesterday, so maybe everybody's sleeping it off. You think that's what's happening, Walmal?
I have no idea. And the thing is, there really isn't any news. There's some news on Wednesday, but it's like written news, 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, but there's more plentiful news on Thursday. So we got 2-3 days with basically no news. And so maybe that's part of the issue as well, is there's just nothing driving us in any particular direction. So, what are you going to do? You trade what you got.
Yeah, and
the best of it, right?
Yeah, with 21 pips of range, it's kind of funny because it's like we popped out of the buy zone. I mean, if you would have taken the first trigger at open +8, you could have picked up 2 pips a couple of times. And then on the short zone, maybe a pip if you were lucky. But I'm looking at this chart is like kind of almost stand aside. Of course, there's rat zone, forget about it. Bambino flex indicators indicating shorts. Price near the pivot, short, and right now we're 6.7 pips below that pivot. And bias near S1 down at 27.18 is long. And we're nowhere near R1. Now we've taken out the H4 pivots from the previous and current H4 candle. On the daily, we've taken out the pivot. On the weekly, we have not taken out the pivot, up at 127.72. And for the month, we've already taken out the pivot. And in fact, it looks like we took out the monthly pivot from August of last year. We've taken that pivot out. That was probably taken out a week or so ago. In and out of the previous day's lower wick zone a bunch of times. So it looks like buying below 127.32 might be the ticket. Once again, range at 21 pips, nothing's happening range-wise. Walmal, you said you were taking a trade. What's going on?
Well, I got out of one position of it. I'm in the second position, just looking to get out. I should just get out now.
Are you long or short?
But I'm short. But it's just like, it's just so painful. It's just not moving. And to be honest with you, I took the trade. I think I told you this before. I was really more taking the trade, not for the sake of trading as much as I was testing some things, testing some new indicators and whatever, and that's really more, and that's kind of what I was doing. So it's the type of thing where, did I make money? Yeah, I made money on the first position. And if I get out right now, I think I literally a 3-point loss, which is nothing. But it's just, this market just so stinking dead. I said on Friday, I think, you can make money even in a compressed market. And Friday I was able to make money, but at least on Friday it was like 35 pips. Today we got 20. That's even less, and that makes it really tough. There's no movement. And the thing is, it's not even moving from one end to the other end consistently. Yes, it has done that, but it's not like it's like moving up 20 pips and then down 20 pips and then up 20 pips. It meanders, and so because of that, that's hard to make money on. You need, if you're going to go make money on it, on a day where it's ranging like 20 pips, you need it to be moving from one end to the other end. And if it does that, then you can certainly make a lot of money in that. You just play the range back and forth on each end of the range, but we're not even getting that type of movement.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that, I've got a spread here. It looks like about 1.2 or 3 pips. When you got 21 pips of range, pip is 5% of the range.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. I had that experience last week, if you recall, where I was sitting there and it was, I don't even know why, but it was just on a day. And, I think the range for that day was something like 35, 40 pips, something like that. It was earlier in the week, I think, or middle of the week. But in any case, you're sitting there, and I was looking at, my normal spread. My spread right now is 2 points, 4 points, going back and forth between the two. And that's pretty typical for my spread. And I was looking at spreads on that day where there were 2.5 to 3.5 pips, and it never went below it. Let's just get out right here. I'm going to get out right here. I'll take a small profit of, wait for it, 4 points. But, that's sometimes, now on the other position I got out of, I can't complain about that because on that one I got out with a profit of 3.5 pips. So, so between the two, I got four. I've got a whopping 4 pips for the day. And depending on, again, it comes down to how much you leverage against that though too. There are people who make 5 pips a day and live very handsomely over that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a one guy over on Forex Factory. I think he told me he was trading at, if I remember correctly, a little over $100 a pip because he was actually trading in pounds, and he was just looking to make 5 pips,
Yeah,
but he was bringing in, about $700 a day US. So yeah,
yeah. So
500
it just shows that
pounds. Yeah,
you can certainly do it. It's just that you better have the account behind you that's big enough to deal with a drawdown on that because, as you and I both know, there will always be drawdown. I don't care who you are, there is always drawdown. I'm not saying it's happening today or tomorrow or even next week, but at some point in time, if you trade long enough, there will be drawdown.
yeah, yeah. Well, he was a breakout trader, and he was looking at H4, and he would pick a particular candle, and he'd run his own statistics, and I can't remember which hour of the day. I think it might have been the O4 H4 candle. So if you look here, he would have popped in. He would have had a long trigger around 127.37. So I think he would have probably made his 5 pips. Yeah, he would have made his 5 pips for sure. And that's just one of those patient things.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing. One of the things I've noticed is like, the reality is when you look at the H4, you know, it sits there in the beginning, usually in the H4, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to find its, I'll call it its chi, its center, right?
Right.
It's trying to figure out where it wants to go, and then the thing is, once it figures out where it wants to go, get the heck out of the way because it's going there and it doesn't care what you're doing. It's going there and it'll take you and your friends and or as we used to say as little kids, you and one army, right? Are gonna go and stop it.
Yeah.
Not. I don't care what army you got. You're not stopping it. That's kind of what the H4 does, and that's the advantage of trading a candle like the H4. If you're able to go and statistically, and I'm going to say this, that people may not like this, but statistically and intuitively, because there's something about trading. There is an intuitive part about it, and if you're able to go and show statistically it does X, and then intuitively you're able to go and figure out, okay, it's going to do X, maybe not now, but pretty close to now. You put those two things together and it becomes deadly, I think that's part of what happens, and especially with a guy like that guy where he's only looking to get 5 pips because the thing is, it's a real possibility that you can go and do that, make a ton of money doing that. The nice thing about the H4 is if you have a big enough account, what you can do is you can go and say, okay, just looking at the H4 chart, okay, and you look at the opens on all of the H4 candles, it usually goes 5 pips in the other direction before it goes the other direction. Not all the time, well, more than not. And so if you got a big enough account where you can sustain a loss of 10 or 15 pips doing that, yeah, and you can go and hold out, then you can go and make your 5 pips pretty easily.
That's true. And
that's discussion for another day.
yeah. And you know what, fellow traders? Even on a slow-moving day like today, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about over. So I hope you all had a fun and safe weekend. And glad you're back. And thanks again for watching. And always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.